Welcome back to our journey into data science. In the previous parts, we studied the main terminologies from big data to data analytics. Then, we formalized the concept of data science and its workflow, helping the professionals to position themselves in the whole process. In this part, I will start by describing the main knowledge and skills of a data scientist, and then I will break them into specific knowledge and skill sets that will be used to shape each professional career in the data-related jobs. I will talk about the business analyst, the data scientist, the machine learning engineer, the BI and data analyst, the data engineer, and finally, the chief data officer. This part finishes placing each one of them within the data science workflow. In this part of the series, we are going to present the main careers in data science. When this field started gaining traction around 15, 20 years ago, we basically had the data scientist as the main and only career in the field. With time, we began to realize that we had some specializations that required the appearance of more specific careers based on the knowledge and the skills required for each one of those careers. To start this discussion, I divided the knowledge and skills into four main areas. One is related with the mathematics and statistic skills, including your knowledge on machine learning, deep learning, statistics, probability, and mathematical programming, which is more related with the solution to optimization problems. Then we have the computation or the computing skills, including programming, knowledge of databases and databases tools, knowledge of high-performance computing or HPC, software engineering, parallel and distributed processing, and other computing areas. As we saw when we were discussing the data science workflow, most data science applications are aimed at solving one specific problem, and this is usually a business problem. This is one of the reasons why the data scientists and the other careers and the other professionals in the field have to have knowledge of business. They have to have some knowledge of business management, including project management, some knowledge of the strategy, finances, and processes, depending on the project you're working with. And finally, it's very important to also have some soft skills because usually data science projects involve a number of professionals, a number of people, including people from different fields. You can have people from business, you can have people from engineering, you can have people from other areas, including health sciences, social sciences, and other areas. It's very important for you to develop soft skills like teamwork, team leadership, like communication skills, developing your capability of problem solving, your creativity, and so on and so forth. So these are the four main blocks of knowledge and skills that you have to have in order to become a data scientist. Of course, when we look at it, it's a bit overwhelming because you need to have knowledge that involve more hard skills. In that direction, I'm talking about all these hard sciences like mathematics, computing, and business knowledge. And also you have to have this soft knowledge or the soft skills. And most of us have one or two or maybe three of these sets of knowledge more developed than the other ones. And this is one of the reasons why the data science career divided into many different careers, including the data scientist. But we are going to see the meaning and the scope of work of each one of these careers. Before we do that, I am going to consider here 8 different axes of knowledge and skills, and we will use them to draw some radar charts that help to analyze the profile of each one of these professionals, of these professional careers. The first 2 axes are more related with the mathematics and statistics background, including predictive statistics and descriptive statistics. And by predictive statistics here, I mean not only the inferential methods from statistics, but also all the background knowledge that you need to work in this field, such as the knowledge about linear algebra, calculus, probability, statistical inference, regression, Bayesian analysis, and so on and so forth. From the descriptive statistics side, I'm talking more about the summary and the characterization of data. And this is related to the exploratory data analysis part of the data science workflow. And here at the bottom, we have other sets of knowledge and skills related with data visualization and data storytelling. And these are a mix of business knowledge, of computing knowledge, and also of some soft skills, because storytelling is basically communicating, is basically creating narratives around data so that you can communicate the context and the results that you can find based on the analysis methods that you apply to your data. The four skills that we have here start with the business analysis, and this is a set of knowledge that mix your skills and your background on business with your skills and background with data science, because you have to do the business analysis part of a data science project. You have to know what is it possible to do with data science in terms of the analysis and development of solution to a given business problem. And the last three axes we have here are related with the computing skills, including software engineering, databases, and programming. Here we've got a detailing of each one of these computing background that you need to have. For example, programming, knowledge of software lifecycle, version control, documentation, testing, design, architecture, and the list goes on. We can do the same study in relation to databases. You have to know about relational data modeling, about database design normalization, indexing, querying, security. You have to have knowledge of databases capable of dealing with structured data and also unstructured data like MongoDB. And finally, you have to have good knowledge of programming depending on the type of career that you're going to follow. In this slide, I am summarizing the main careers that we have in data science and also the main sets of knowledge and skills that you need to have to work on them. These are the 8 sets of knowledge and skills that we saw previously. And here we have the careers that we are going to explore in more detail in the following slides, including the business analyst, the data scientist, data analyst, data engineer, data architect, the machine learning engineer or the ML engineer, the chief data officer, and the chief scientist. I'm not going to talk specifically about him or her because the chief scientist sometimes is the same as the chief data officer. It's just a matter of the nomenclature chosen by the company in which you work. Right. And of course, when you look at the chief data officer or the CDO, this professional is more a management professional usually, whilst the chief scientist is more of a problem solver, is more of a data scientist with a leadership position. That's a difference between them. But as I said, in many companies, it's just a matter of the way that they call the professional that is taking the leadership position of the data science team. Let's start describing the business analyst. The business analyst is the professional responsible for looking at the problem, understanding the context of the problem that you want to solve using data science, and mapping which type of data science solution you can design to solve that problem. The idea is that this professional gathers all the requirements and develops the use cases to structure the solutions. And this requires skills in business, in market as well. Here I'm talking about market in a broader sense. It also requires knowledge about processes and the analytical tools, as I mentioned before. If you don't know what you can do with data science, what you can do with analytics, so you cannot work as a business analyst, because the main role of this person is to look at the problem, to look at customer demand, the customer problem, and to tell the customer what you're going to solve, what you can do with the data that they have available. Of course, that sometimes the customer already has one specific problem that they want you to solve, but in many cases, they just have plenty of data and they want to know what they can do with that data. They know that data is valuable, but they don't know what they can do with it. So the role of the business analyst is to look at all those data and to tell them what can be done, what type of value can be extracted from the data available. And finally, when we look at the roles and the skills necessary, the roles of the business analyst and the skills necessary to work as a business analyst, we can see many professionals with degrees in economics, in business administration, in engineering, in computing, in statistics, in areas that combine a little bit of knowledge in business and knowledge in computing so that You can do this analytical mapping, and you can propose solutions that are interesting for your customer. If we look at this profile in a radar chart, here I created a radar chart with the 8 axes that I mentioned you before. On this second quadrant here on the left, on the top left, we have the computing skills, including programming, database, and software engineering. More to the right, we have the maths and statistics skills, including predictive statistics and descriptive statistics. And at the bottom, we have the business and soft skills, like visualization, storytelling, and business analysis. If we check how is the spider for this professional, this business analyst, we can see that this spider web here, it's much stronger here to the bottom part, which includes business analysis and the soft skills and some computing skills in data visualization and data storytelling and dashboard design. All this is in this part of the radar chart for the business analyst. The data scientist, by contrast, is a professional that is responsible for designing, implementing, and testing the solutions to the problems that were mapped, that were suggested by the business analyst or by the problem owner. We know that the companies have their problem owners, and each area has their own problems and has their own professionals. For example, human resources have people responsible for the human resources, responsible for other people, and they have their own problems like predicting turnover. I want to predict if I'm going to lose some of my collaborators, and I don't want to lose them. So this type of problem is very common in human resources department. So they are the problem owners. The business analyst or the data analyst is the one that brings this problem, and the data scientist is one of the careers, one of the professionals responsible for taking this problem that was specified with the data available to try and solve this problem, and then to design the solution and to test the solution. This means that this professional will have to code some algorithms, to do some tests, to run some experiments, and to validate the result. With this type of role, this professional has to have skills in computing, has to have some skills in mathematics and statistics, so that he or she can analyze the result and provide some solid conclusions such that a decision or an action can be made based on those solutions that were proposed. And degrees that are very common for data scientists are mathematics, economics, statistics, computing and engineering, and also physics. We have many physicists that are very good data scientists because they are used to deal with maths, with complex problems. So these backgrounds are very common for data scientists. When looking at our radar chart, we can see that this profile tends more to the first quadrant, which is the quadrant that is more focused both on the mathematics and statistics side. And also it's usually very strong in terms of the programming skills. And it's less concerned with the business skills because we have other professionals in the team that are going to do the business analysis of the results and of the solutions proposed and tested by the data scientists. The machine learning engineer is a professional that is similar to the data scientist, with the difference that they are usually more concerned with the design and development of specific algorithms that are tailored to solve some specific problems, and also to work on the optimization of these algorithms and of these models, right? So optimization in terms of scalability, in terms of performance, in terms of deployment, all these are roles that are more with the machine learning engineer than with the data scientist. Therefore, the skills of the machine learning engineer are similar to the skills, and also the background of machine learning engineer are very similar to those of the data scientist, with the difference that this professional is usually even more versed in computing and even more versed both in predictive and descriptive statistics. We could think about prescriptive statistics here as well, but I'm summarizing the mathematics background into these two axes here, predictive and descriptive statistics and maths, okay? We also have the data analyst. Differently from the data scientist and the machine learning engineer, The data analyst is usually not responsible for creating models, for creating inferential models to extrapolate or to generalize from the data that you have. They're more concerned with exploratory data analysis, which means the characterization and the summarization of data together with visualization, the data storytelling, and dashboard design. This is the main scope of the work performed by the data analyst. And consequently, the skills required to perform this type of tasks are much more related with data visualization, with some basic concepts of descriptive statistics, data storytelling, and the creation of graphs and dashboards from data. The background of this professional is usually in economics, engineering, computing, statistics, business, and in many other areas that are less specialized in computing, but that are more focused on the business problems, right? This is the type of career that you can have even if you are not specialized in computing. If you don't have a deep background in computing, if you're not good at programming, you can still be a data analyst because you will be able to work with tools that are what we call no-code or low-code tools. Looking at the data chart for the data analyst, we can see that it's much stronger here in the visualization storytelling and also on the descriptive statistics side, but it doesn't require from you many skills from the computing and also from the inferential or predictive statistics. The data engineer is that professional responsible for gathering, organizing data, and preparing the data for all the other careers, including the data scientist, the machine learning engineer, and the data analyst. This professional is responsible for handling large data sets, for managing databases, performing queries, preparing the data, and also coding some models. But these models here are much more related with data preparation than with the design of decision support systems or inferential algorithms that are going to predict something out of the data. With these duties, this professional will have to have skills in software engineering, in programming languages, in frameworks, deep knowledge in databases, in dealing with different types of databases, in writing queries, and also in communication with the business analysts and all the other careers around data science. And the degrees, it's much more common to find data engineers with a background in computing than in other areas like business, for example. The radar chart is here more on the second quadrant that focuses on computing skills, and they don't usually need to have strong skills in all the other areas, neither the mathematics and statistic areas, nor the business and the other soft skills areas that we emphasized here in our x-axis. And finally, we have the Chief Data Officer, or CDO. This is the person that oversees the whole data-related operation, including the data science, the machine learning engineer, and all the other professionals that work in this area. The CDO has to see data as a strategic asset of the company that can be used for you to build new solutions and to build new products capable of optimizing the results and the performance of the company. Although the CDO has to have knowledge about computing, engineering, business, leadership, this is not an operational career in the sense that he is not the person that is going to code the algorithms, that is going to run the experiments and to find the solution. He is the person that is going to oversee everything that is being done and to ensure that data is being used to get the best result possible for the company. With a role like that, it's common to have CDOs with background in computing, engineering, and in different areas of business, like economics and management. In terms of the radar chart, we can see that it's much stronger here in the bottom part of the chart, because this is where we have the business and the soft skills. To conclude this part, let's put all these careers in the context of the data science workflow. When we look at each of the 5 blocks that we proposed for the workflow, we can see that the first one, related with the analytical mapping, involves the roles of a business analyst, whilst the second step, that focuses on data collection and data preparation, are the roles of the data engineer, mainly of the data engineer, but it's part of the work of a data scientist as well. Usually the data engineer prepares the data, collects the data structures, do all the data preparation for the data scientist, but it's also common to see data scientists and also data analysts working in this step as well. The next step, which is the data analysis step, is the focus of the work of the data analyst and also of the business intelligence analyst. I didn't talk about the BI analyst here because this is a career that after data science emerged and gained traction, this career of a business intelligence analyst, it lost a little bit of traction. It used to be a very strong career, a very sought career right in the turn of the millennium by the year 2000 up to 2005. And then it lost a little bit of space to the data science related careers. But if you look at the work of a BI analyst, it's pretty much the same as the work of a data analyst, with the difference that the BI analyst focuses more on the business side of the analysis, while the data analyst is looking at data in a broader or in a more general sense. The next step is the work of the data scientist and the machine learning engineer, because this is the step where you're going to design the models, run experiments, collect results, analyze the results, and interact with all the other areas to see if these results meet the criteria required by the problem. And finally, we have to validate and to integrate the final solution. And this is usually a work shared by all the team because everyone has its own contribution to validate and to integrate the final solution into the company systems or the creation of a new system for the company. Here at the bottom, we have the Chief Data Officer overseeing and taking care of the whole workflow. Thank you for watching and see you in the last part of the series.